and to do the things that we learned to do early on that have changed everything for us. And man, I'm super excited to share with you just what it takes to start developing yourself as a leader, okay? Because the truth is, everything rises and falls on leadership. Show me something that's winning. Show me something that's growing. That's being run by a leader. Show me something that's not doing those things, and there's a lack of leadership. And everything in our life can be boiled down to, are we leading? And listen, sooner or later in your life, whether here, at your job, at home, with your kids, you're going to be called on to be a leader, to step up and to step into a different place. And what you do to prepare for that is going to dictate how your outcome happens. It's going to change everything in your life if you're prepared to lead when the time calls. And so I was thinking about just a great story to illustrate this, because I think a lot of us look at the people on the stage, look at the big $1 million earners, and you think, I could never be like that. I don't know if I could be as excited as John Cooper. I don't know if I could be as good looking as Jordan Gallagher, okay? I don't know if I could have Brad Jackman's mother's bowl haircut, okay? I don't know if I could do that, okay? And the truth is, what you don't see is where everybody started from. You don't see where everybody started from. You don't see the years of work on ourselves that we put in, that when we came into this business, we were ready to do something big, right? And we think that it's just going to happen for us. And guys, it's not, but it can happen for you. See, I believe everybody can be a leader. I don't believe everybody will be a leader, but I believe everybody could be a leader. Do you believe that? Do you believe that leadership is something that can be learned, that you can learn some disciplines, some mindsets, and some habits that can improve your life? Listen, if you learn how to get up, go to the gym every day, walk on the treadmill, watch what you ate every day, you learn that as a habit, would your health improve? Most likely, right? Okay, and same with the results in your life in every area. And so I was thinking about the story of Carrie Underwood. Most of you know Carrie Underwood, born in 1983, raised in Muskogee, Oklahoma, okay? And she majored in broadcast journalism, temporarily put aside her dreams of becoming a singer, went to school. It wasn't until her senior year in college when she auditioned for American Idol, and she did not even want to audition. Her friends and family had to talk her into it. She had a gift. She had a talent to be one of the greatest of the greatest. But even the great Carrie Underwood, having years with that talent, didn't believe enough in her own greatness to go and try out. She had to be convinced from friends and family, said, Carrie, you've got to do this. This is your opportunity. You need to go and take it. Didn't want to do it, was going through the traditional, go to school, get good grades, get into college, and get a good what? A good job. The great Carrie Underwood had to be talked into that. And the truth is, there's a lot of you sitting in this room, right, that don't believe you could be great at this. Somebody had to talk you into coming here tonight. Just like somebody had to talk her into going to an audition that would change her life. If you'll go to the next slide, on the left is a picture of Carrie Underwood's audition on American Idol. Okay, on the left here. On the right is Carrie Underwood now. The Carrie Underwood you all know, right? And take a look at that. Just the body language, the dress, the way she's holding the microphone. Everything speaks of a lack of self-confidence. And on the picture on the right, everything speaks of $1 million confidence. What happened? She grew. What happened? She developed. What happened? She got around people that caused her to get better. But see, you got to start the journey if you want to become a leader. Yes or yes? You got to start the journey. You got to start it somewhere, and you got to start it somehow, and you got to start it at some point. So why not now? Why not here? Why not this? To choose to embark on the journey of leadership and becoming somebody who's worth the big bucks. If you go to the next slide, today, Carrie Underwood's net worth over $55 million. Folks, listen. One choice, one decision, one audition could have changed everything for her. One choice. She didn't even want to do it. Sometimes you're not going to feel like going down the path of success, because guess what? It's hard work sometimes, right? It's reinventing yourself. It's taking that raw talent that's in you, that's in each and every one of you sitting here, and it's chipping away at the things that hold you back. just like her, a college student in Oklahoma with a gift that could change the world. You're somebody who has a gift that can change your world and the worlds of others if you'll just be brave enough to start walking that path, right? And it's the path of leadership, self-development, and self-growth. Those two pictures, all that you see there is about a decade of getting better every single day, honing her craft, getting bigger, right? And that's how you're going to do it too. So I want to take you through the first 2 levels of the 5 levels of leadership. Next Friday, I'm going to go through the other 3 levels of leadership, okay? But leadership level number 1 is learning. Leaders are learners. How many of you ever met somebody who said, I went to high school and college, I'm done, right? I'm through learning. I'm through that phase of my life. And formal education will make us a living, but self-education will make us a fortune. Let me say that again. Formal education will make us a living. Self-education will make us a fortune, right? How's your formal education doing on helping you to get wealthy, helping you to get free, right? That's why you're here tonight, taking it a step further. Leaders are learners. Leaders are learners. There's no other way around it, okay? And so the number 1 way, go to the next slide, to learn is not by books, but learning by experience. When you know by doing, there's no gap between what you know and what you do. When you know by doing, there's no gap between what you know and what you do. So learning by experience is the best way to learn. Here's the problem with learning by experience. It's slow. Any of you ever realize that? Like, gosh, if I would have known then what I know now, right? And it takes us years and years to generate our own experiences. In fact, you do not have enough time to accumulate your own life experiences to get to the top. It just takes too long, right? Show me one person that's trying to do it on their own, doesn't have a mentor, isn't in a success system, that's figuring it out, following the system. Have you seen any of them? No, it takes too long, okay? So you've got to accumulate experiences to grow, but you've got to accumulate them from what? The experiences of others. That's the shortcut to learning leadership, is you learn what you're learning, but you learn from others who have walked before you. You can learn from other people's mistakes and successes and bypass a whole process of having to figure it out on your own, right? Listen, if it were possible for you to get to your dreams and to get to them faster than you thought, and for them to be more incredible than you ever imagined, you would be interested in that, right? That's what learning leadership is. It's learning how to get to who you need to become so that you can have what you want. So stop and think about this. Go to the next slide. For $20, you can buy a lifetime of experience from the world's most successful people. Are you interested? You better be. It's called a book. That's a book. Somebody's entire life experiences. The greatest humans that have ever lived in every field, Shane, in human history have recorded their life's experiences, what to do, what not to do, what helped them, what hurt them, and put them in a book. And for $16.99, $18.99, gosh dang it, $24.99 if it's a good one, you can buy somebody's lifetime worth of experience, and you can read it, and you can learn every lesson they learned and start where they finished. See, in life, we don't start over every day, right? We start tomorrow where we finish today. Our kids start where we finish, right? Isn't that something? And so nobody in our lives ever thought enough to get us to think this way. Guys, you got to invest in yourself. Leaders are what? Readers. Leaders are readers. When's the last time you bought a book that was nonfiction? Okay? When's the last time you bought a book? If it's been a little while, hey, listen, you're missing out. I spend so much money on books, right? My wife thinks I'm nuts. I got Audible, I got leadership subscriptions, hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month on books, tapes, audios, because what? If I don't get better, I can't have any more than I have now. And neither can you. Neither can you. But if you're willing to get better, if you're willing to grow past the things that stop you, right, then you can go to another level in your life. And some people say, well, I can't afford that book. I can't afford that audio. I can't afford to go to that seminar. Right, guys, listen, January 5th and 6th, we got a big event. It's $20, and somebody's going to say, I don't have $20 to go. And folks, that's learning from a lifetime of experience. You got to invest in yourself. Go ahead and go to the next slide. See, when you study the material of those who are further down the path than you, you can avoid a lot of the landmines of success. So 3 ways to do it. Number 1 is books. Great books by great authors. Great books by great authors. Audios. Listen, Every time you're in the car, you should turn your car into Automobile University. How many of you spend at least a few hours driving every week? Okay, what if instead of listening to the radio, instead of staring blindly out the windshield on autopilot, wondering how you got to where you went, right? Any of you identify with that? Why don't you turn on an audio of somebody who has something you want, has mastered a skill you want to master, and turn your car into Automobile University? And every day you get a little bit better, you get a little stronger, you get a little tougher, you get a little wiser, you learn the tricks of the trade. Why does John Cooper make more money than anybody in this room besides me? Because he learned exactly what I had to teach him, right? Listen, all the books have already been written. There's just not enough readers. All the audios for success and winning big in Primerica have already been recorded. There's just not enough people listening. Folks, it's that simple. It's that simple. We take who we are today, we put new information, new thought processes, and we become a better version of ourselves. Not a different version of ourselves, a what? Better version of ourselves, capable of commanding big bucks and a ton of respect. Okay, so you got to get around those people. Why? Number one, go to the next slide. When you study from the greats, you are employing the law of association. What's the law of association? Remember that? When you were a kid, your mom's like, listen, if you're doing bad stuff with two friends and they're doing the bad things, but you're there with them, you're guilty by association. Okay, some of you broke by association. Great. Some of you unhappy by association. Okay? But you can take that same law of association that's negative, and you can work it positive, and you can associate with the greatest people that have ever lived. When you read somebody's book, what are you doing? You're having a conversation with them. They could have been dead 300, 400, 500 years, and their wisdom passes to you like they were sitting there at the table. If you could sit with presidents, kings, philosophers, the greatest business leaders of all time, and pick their brain, would you take that opportunity? Of course you would. Well, you can. It's called a book. It's called their audio, right? And when we begin to associate our time and our thinking with those people, we'll begin to have those results. See, books and audios and meetings allow you to associate with those of great value, right? It gives you the value of association. Why do I come to the meeting? If for no other reason than you're associating with people who are further ahead on this journey than you. Right? Does that make sense? Because watch this. By not coming to the meeting, you're associating with people who are no closer than you are to your dream. Well, how will they help you get here? They won't. They can't. Even if they could, they can't. Right? Does that make sense? So when we miss the meeting, all we say to ourselves is, my dream is not that important. It's not urgent for me to get around people who can teach me how to get to where I need to go. I'll just get there whenever. Well, the problem with whenever is it becomes never pretty quickly, right? The law of association allow you to have the value of association with the greatest leaders in history. With the greatest leaders in history. Sometimes people call, they say, Ian, I just need to meet with you for a few minutes. And you know what you know what I think when that happens? Everything I'll ever tell you, I'll put in an audio. Everything I'm ever going to tell you about how to build this business is on SoundCloud free of charge. You can listen to it 100 times. You could capture me and take me to your house and force me to tell you my wisdom over and over and over. Say, don't stop, Ruckus, I'm tired. Say, one more time. Tell me one more time. And all you got to do is push play. Look at your neighbor and say, push play. That's all you got to do is push play. And you force me to reveal the secrets that I've amassed in this business to you over and over at any time. At will. Like, Pruk, tell me again. I'm like, I don't want to push play. And there it goes. It's out there again for you. See, listen, when you start learning, go ahead and go to the next slide, you employ the law of attraction. We're always attracting and repelling in life. We're always attracting and repelling. We're attracting what we're like, and we're repelling things we're not like. Okay? And when we learn and act on new information, we begin to attract new outcomes. When we learn and act on new information, we begin to attract new outcomes. So let me ask you a question. I just want you to be brutally honest. I don't want hands, but I want to ask you this. Are you as happy as you could be? No. Are you your best self? Are you the best self that you envision? Are you making as much money as you could make? Are you saving as much money as you could save? Are you impacting the community as big as you could impact the community? Are you leaving your mark on the world right now as big as you could? And if the answer is no, then we got to start attracting something different into our life, because we're attracting something no matter what. Whether you like it or not, you're attracting what you are right now. And the only way to attract something different is to take in what? New information, new thinking, new believing, and we'll begin to attract different things into our life. Okay, so what are some of the things you got to learn in our business? Go ahead and go to the next slide. So you got to learn the 8 fundamentals. You've got to master these guys. You got to master them. Okay, what are they? The 1,000-person names list. Raise your hand if you got 1,000 names and numbers on your list. Raise your hand. RVP, 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 full-timer, 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 RVP, full-timer. Anybody, and one more in the back, Dan. Okay, everybody high five Dan. Not all at once though, okay? Did you notice something? Success left clues, right? Okay? Setting appointments, what John just talked about today. You got to be able to set 8 out of every 10. If you're not setting 8 out of every 10 people you talk to on the phone, you're not doing it right yet. You're not very good. Now that's not a diss, because you can what? Get better. You can choose to get better and set those 8 out of 10. Presentations, right? You can watch our presentations on video, on audio. You can become as good or better than me. Some of you are better than me. Joshua Jeating is better than me at the presentation. Why? He does it more often. He's faster with it, okay? Objections and learning how to overcome the most common things. There's only a handful of things that stop you from doing business in our business, right? And when we learn them and they become second nature to us, it's no problem. How many of you let your child, how many of you have children? Raise your hand. How many of you, keep your hand raised, last night let your kid close you on not going to bed for 3 days and eating bunches of sugar before bed? Keep your hand raised. If they closed you last night. Now raise your hand if they tried to close you on that exact scheme. Okay, now watch. You're a master at overcoming that little Rugrat's objection, right? You're like, you ain't doing this time, Timmy. I've seen you on the sugar before bed, right? Okay? And so what do? So you got used to it, and you now are a pro. You're now a pro. Well, listen, your clients want to eat sugar and run around for 3 days with no life insurance, and they don't got a PAC. And you got to sit them down and say, listen, Timmy, right? Okay, we got to get you started. You got to learn to overcome the objections. Product knowledge. It's insane to me sometimes, John, the questions we see on Q&A. They're like, how do I beat this whole life policy? I'm like, are you in Primerica? What company are you in? Right? Okay, but what? The information's there. Let me give you all an audio. Ian Prukner, Why Primerica at the KT. Audio on SoundCloud for free. Video on Primerica Online also for free. We'll teach you exactly how to do that. I've made millions, and you can make millions if you'll learn what I learned and apply what I learned how to apply. You got to learn how to recruit. You've got to become a great recruiter. If people aren't joining you by the droves, something's wrong. Because what do we offer people, P-Lynn? More money and total control of time. Hey, you want more money than you have now? No, absolutely not. In fact, I have too much. Get away from me, right? Hey, would you like to control your own time, be able to get up when you want, do your own things, never have to ask for a day off? No! I love asking for time off and being told no. I just love it. I love sitting in rush hour traffic. It's unbelievable. But then how do they not join you? They said they weren't interested. Well, it's because we weren't very interesting. Because they interested, right? They're just not interested in your version of what you're saying, right? Okay, getting people off to a fast start and meeting attendance. Okay, these are things we've got to learn, and they're learnable. They are learnable, 100%. You can choose to get better. Go ahead and go to the next slide. So that's the number one, right? Leaders are what? Learners. Leaders are what? Learners, right? Leaders are what? Learners. Okay, number two, the leadership level number 2 is performing. See, to dream is nothing. Everybody dreams every night. To act on the dream is dangerous. To act on the dream is dangerous. That's when you start getting some pushback. That's when you start getting some pushback from the world. See, you've got to understand that performers, right, and performing is where you earn your street credibility in any sort of business like this, right? You'll never get anywhere telling somebody what to do. You've got to do it first. You've got to be an example. Do as I do, not as I say, right, okay? So I want you to go ahead and go to the next slide. Eric Thomas said this. He said, you cannot afford to live in potential for the rest of your life. At some point, you have to unleash the potential and make your move. Are you ready to unleash the potential? Are you ready to make your move and to do something big? See, you can't live in potential forever. At some point, you got to take action. And performers know this. Go ahead and go to the next slide. Here's a list of things performers know. It's going to be tough. It's going to be work. Performers know that. It's going to be work. It's going to be hard. They expect it. Guys, there's going to be critics. There's going to be critics. When you stand up for something, you go to work, don't expect everybody to love it. Right? Okay? The only way to not have critics is what? To do nothing, be nothing, have nothing, go for nothing. And listen, the critics don't matter anyways, right? How many of you have been to a city and there was a big statue of critic in the middle and they're like, that's the dude that told us we couldn't. That's him. Right? That's the statue to the critic. When have you seen that? Folks, critics don't matter, but they knock so many of you out. Right? What are they going to think? It doesn't matter. If they're not doing it, doesn't matter. There's going to be doubters. There's going to be doubters. And listen, it's not going to be fair. Any of you realize that yet? Life ain't fair. Life ain't fair. So guess what? You got to play good enough to have a couple bad calls from the ref and still come out on top, right? Okay? Don't worry about how it's fair or not. Figure out the rules and play the game, right? You'll have plenty of chances to give up when it gets hard. You'll have plenty of chances to give up when it gets hard. Anything worth having is going to be tough to get. End of story, right? It's not going to be easy, and we never told you it would be. We told you it'd be what? Worth it, right? Okay? The competition's going to be intense. It's going to be intense. Art Williams said you beat 50% of the people by showing up and working hard. You beat 40% by living right. And the other 10%'s a dogfight. It's a dogfight. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a competition. You're going to be uncomfortable every day. Are you uncomfortable on the road to success? Good. You're right where you should be. You're right where you should be. Is it hard for you? Good. You're right where it should be. Do you worry sometimes? Good. You're right where you should be. You're growing. Because anything that's growing, by definition, is exploding out of its current containment, its current size, its current space, and it's forcing growth to the next level. That's what's happening, and that's painful. That's uncomfortable. Are you uncomfortable? Are you nervous? Are you worried? Are you scared? You're exactly where you should be. And I know this. Performers know this. At the end, it'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. Guys, listen, if you couldn't have your dreams by winning here, you should leave right now and go home. It ain't worth it. But folks, it's worth it 100 times over. If I had to do this all over again, I'd work twice as hard and I'd do it twice as fast. There's something special about freedom, y'all. There's something special about freedom, about looking in the mirror and being happy with who you are and doing what everybody said you couldn't do. There's something special about that. And man, they know it's going to be worth it. I love these couple memes. When people are waiting on my downfall, but I'm a goat. And you just hang into the side of that cliff, right? And listen, folks, right now, listen to me. There are people who didn't come to the meeting, and there's family members of those people, and they're rejoicing. They're like, I knew he'd give up sooner or later. I knew it was just a phase. I knew he was just like us. Don't ever give those people that satisfaction. See, most people are living vicariously through competition on the field. They're sitting in the stands. On Thanksgiving, they'll be cheering, painting their chest blue. They're living vicariously. But listen, it's time to get on the field and compete in your life. It's time to get on the field and compete in your life for something special. Go to the next slide. I stole this from Melody, but I love it. You don't have a right to the cards you believe you should have been dealt. You have an obligation to play the hell out of the ones that you're holding. You might not have everything you need right now, but you can get everything you need through this system, through the process, through the mentoring that you got here. You might not have what you need, but you better pick them cards up and you better play the heck out of those things. It's time for you to stand up and fight and give your best. See, listen, it ain't always going to be easy. Stay off this for a second. 1832. Lost a job. 1832, after losing a job, was defeated for the legislature. In 1833, started a business, and the business failed. In 1834, they were elected to the legislature, but the year after that, their sweetheart died. 1838 was defeated for speaker. 1843, defeated for nomination for Congress. 1846, elected to Congress, only to lose it in 1848. Lose a re-election to Congress. 1849, after losing re-election, rejected for land officer. 1854, defeated for the Senate. 1856, defeated for the nomination for vice president. 1858, again defeated for the Senate. And in 1860, Abraham Lincoln was elected our president, took our nation through the darkest days of its existence, an internal civil war. Folks, listen, sometimes it's going to be defeat after defeat after defeat after defeat. And all it's doing, Brandon, is it's proving in you how bad you want it, and it's teaching you the skills and the mental toughness you need to be ready when your time comes. Because it's coming. Listen, y'all, your time is coming. Will you be prepared? Your time is coming. Will you be prepared? Sooner or later, somebody in your family is going to call you and say, you're not going to believe the news I got from the doctor. And health insurance that don't pay for it. And I need some help. And your time's going to come, whether you like it or not. And you're going to have been prepared. You're going to stay your course to be prepared for your destiny. Or you're not. You're going to give up. See, listen, sometimes it's going to be tough. And you just got to keep going. Doesn't that look crazy a little bit? All those defeats, don't you think people were telling him, hey, you just got to give up? Right? Time to throw it in. You're a lawyer, for goodness sake. Just go do what you do. Right? You can make great money. But he had a calling on his life to change the world. And so do you. Folks, you got to get a little crazy here if you want to win. You got to get a little crazy about your dreams. You got to get a little crazy about your future. You got to get a little crazy about your family. You got to get a little crazy about the crusade. You got to be just a little bit off. And when you're just a little bit off, man, now you're approaching what it means to be a winner. Everybody thought Abraham Lincoln was crazy until he led this country through its darkest moment. You got to be a little bit crazy, and you got to go all in. You got to go all in. Go to the next slide. I stole this. One of my kids thought this is so funny, but you can't win a farting contest if you ain't willing to crap your pants, y'all. Come on. Y'all got to get out there a little bit. Right? You got to be willing to look bad on the way to being good. You got to be willing to look bad on the way to getting good. Folks, you got to go all in. You got to go all in. Are you ready to go all in? Listen, our company, next 2 weeks, we're all in. We're all in. Everybody's playing. Everybody's playing. Teamwork makes the dream work. We're all in, right, buddy? Come on, let's go. Who's with me? You're all in. Let's go. Man, I'm ready to do something special. You got to get all in. And man, listen, you might not see it yet. Just like looking at Carrie Underwood, you never thought in a million years you'd see that picture next to her 10 years later. Proud, living her purpose, inspiring people, financially stable. Folks, listen, you got to be able to see that vision before somebody else. And let me tell you what, I can see you. Go to this next slide. I can see you. Folks, I can see you winning. I can see you happy. I can see you proud. I can see you strong. I can see you confident. Folks, I can see you debt-free. I can see you job-free. I can see you a cash millionaire. I can see that for you. Folks, I can see you in that new house. I can see you in that new car. Folks, I can see your kids in that new school. I can see you retiring your spouse, retiring your parents. I can see you opening that orphanage. I can see you living every dream that's in your heart right now. Folks, I can see you. That's why I come here every Tuesday and every Friday. And why I pour my heart out to you, folks. Listen, I'm financially independent, but I love you. I love you enough to challenge you. I love you enough to call the best out of you. I love you enough to see what you can't see in your life for you right now and let you borrow my belief like John Cooper talked about. Folks, I saw a leader in him when nobody else saw. They tell me you still doing that thing, right? And I saw that winner in him. I saw $1 million earner in him before he ever believed it. And folks, I see that in you. There's greatness on the inside. There's a diamond that's just got to be put under a little bit of pressure, carved out a little bit, cut the right way, and you're going to shine, and you're going to surprise yourself. I can see it in you now. I can see it in you now. Can you see it? Man, let's get up on our feet, and let's go crazy. Get up on your feet.